by the time it's time for him to come back around the studio for Provocative, everybody's like, okay, this is cool, but where's my? Where's Fairweather Friend? Where's Wrap My Body Tight? Where is Rub You the Right Way? And that had to suck for Johnny, because it's like, damn, I can't give you guys the same album twice. But it's just one of those things, man. It's unfortunate because there's no doubt Johnny Gill is one of the best to ever pick up a microphone and sing it. Bottom line. But he was cursed by how great that 1990 album was. What's going on, everybody? You're right on time for the first official ride on the Groove Line, a brand new YouTube channel that is going to talk about music from the past, present, and possibly the future with myself, Chris Stevens, a writer who loves music and was inspired by a mentor to start this channel. We'll talk more about that on a different episode. But thank you for coming along for the ride. If you're coming from my other YouTube channel, Chris Stevens Writes, I thank you. But if you just happen to walk up upon this train and want to jump on board, your ticket money is just as good as anybody else's. And I'm glad you're here. We're not going to waste too much time because it is Good Friday, and this is the Friday 5. Now, what that means is I'm going to give you 5 songs from an album that is either timeless, classic, underrated, a good listen, important, all the above. And today's album, which turned 35 years old this week, mind you. What is time anymore? Goodness gracious. Talking about Johnny Gill, self-titled from 1990. I'm going to talk about the overall lore and history of this album later on in the show, but we're going to get to these top 5 first. But it's important to note that this is probably where the 90s officially jumps off, like from R&B standpoint. It's just like, bam, flag in the ground. This is the flag in the ground album, in my opinion. And I'm going to give you the 5 songs that I feel like make this album great. And if you feel like I left one out, if you feel like I have one too high, if you feel like I have one too low, feel free to leave a comment. We're going to have fun here. We're going to discuss music. We're going to have fun doing it. So let's get started. Here's number 5. Fairweather Friend. It is a babyface L.A. Reid up-tempo that still keeps in line with Johnny Gill's balladeer sensibilities. This is a song about a potential love interest who's going through some changes in her life, and people don't have her back. And Johnny's like, well, I'll have you back. I'll be your bridge over troubled water. Won't be no fair weather friend. I'll be there to the end. Even through stormy weather, time and time again. It's still a love song, but it's a love song that is designed to get you up off your ass and dance. And it's one of those dance floor songs from the early 90s that just sticks with people. There's another one on this list. Of course, you probably know what it is, but I'll let the beat build for that one. But Fairweather Friend is a fun song to listen to. It lifts your spirit. It lifts your mood. It lifts the vibe. It makes you want to dance. It is a great song. It is number 5 on this list. Let's go to number 4 now. Number 4. Feels So Much Better. Another Babyface and L.A. Pen song with help from one Perry Pebbles Reid. Now, this is important because L.A. Reid and Pebbles were either dating or married at the time of the recording of this song in particular. And Pebbles has written some really good songs in the canon of R&B when you think about Always and Love Makes Things Happen with Babyface. Like, her pen is solid, even though TLC might beg to differ what she used to do with that pen when it comes to contracts and all of that. But Feel So Much Better is a true mid-tempo ballad. It is a song about a guy who didn't believe in true love from the start, but then this woman came around and changed his mind, changed his heart. Now he sings a perfect melody. And I just want to tell the world what you mean to me. No, as you can tell, I'm not really a good singer, but I love R&B. But yes, Feel So Much Better is one of those songs that just, it's a great summer night's groove. If you're riding along, cruising along, or if you're just hanging out, chilling with somebody or chilling solo, it's one of those perfect summer evening songs. And it's on my Summer Nights Walk playlist. So if anybody in my hometown of Wilmington, Delaware is just like sees me walking around singing this song, you know what I'm talking about. Here's another one on that list and another great slow jam from that album. Number 3 now. Giving My All to You. Now, We talk about how Jimmy and Terry and Babyface and Ellie Reed produced much of this album, but they definitely had some help. This song was written and co-produced by Randy Rand of Rick Rand and Dan. If you ever seen Sherelle and Alexander O'Neal Unsung, you'll know that Sherelle called him Randy Rand, the ladies' man, because they were in a relationship and he put her through it. He passed away unfortunately in a motorcycle accident in the early 90s, but he was one of those guys that Jimmy and Terry gave a chance to write and produce some stuff with them. And this is a classic. This is a great song. It's so funny because the drum beat takes up the first, I guess, 8 bars, and you don't know where it's going because it's just a really simple boom 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 boom. That's the cowbell. Bing, bing, boom 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 boom. Bing, bing, boom 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 boom. And then here comes the rest of the synths. These really sparkly synths. Ding, 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 ding. And this is another song where Johnny is pretty much pleading for romance. Sometimes I feel I don't know which way is up or which way is down. You make me feel like I'm not for real. You play with my emotions, but I can't let you go. See, back then, brothers used to be going through it. They don't admit they go through it in R&B anymore. I'll talk more about that in a minute. But Johnny was going through it on Giving My All to You. And the bridge is my favorite part because he says, be sure you want me with you tonight because I have no intentions on being with someone else. Like, he's literally just laying it bare. Please act right so I can give my all to you. It's really that simple. And again, this is where Jimmy and Terry, with the creative spirit, allowing, Randy Rand to jump in with this song is just perfect. It's perfect where it fits in the album. And it's a slow jam that doesn't get enough credit for what it does. But here's one that absolutely does get the credit that it deserves, and probably more. My, you sure look good tonight, and you're so damn fine. Number 2, my. One of the top ballads of the 1990s. Not R&B ballads, not New Jack Swing ballads, top ballads of the decade, period. Period I, period And it's another Babyface classic. Real quick, do you know how great you can be, you are, when you go on tour and you start a concert with a melody of songs that you have written and produced for other people before you even get to your own stuff? That's Babyface, man. That's Kenneth Brian Edmonds in a nutshell. Like, he could literally do this song. He could do some others for Bobby, Madonna, Boys to Men, New Edition. Babyface is one of them ones, man. Really simple. And My is just one of those perfect songs that we cling to when we talk about 90s R&B, when we talk about the romance aspect of it, when we talk about how men used to revere women in that respect. Slip on your red dress and put on your high heels and some of that sweet perfume. It's like Johnny's like setting it up. It's like, whew, this girl look good. So we going out. I'm going to show her off. But you can't touch her because she's mine. And when we go back, I'm going to spend the night with her. I win. So My is just one of those perfect 90s R&B slow jams that is a wedding song. It's a slow dance song. It is a song for when you get for the honeymoon stage, the consummation, if you will. And it just, you can't beat it. You can't beat My. It's one of those songs in the 90s that people who were around for that time period just never get tired of, and with good reason. It's number 2 on this list because number 1, not is, Rub You the Right Way. Now, it's the first song on the album. And my lament about music today is that a lot of people don't put a lot of thought into their intro tracks. There are either these little goofy skits where somebody's either doing drugs or humping or being goofy in the studio or whatever, or it's just this little tiny instrumental that's just like, this is who I am, this is who I be, da 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 da. But no, Rub You the Right Way starts off Johnny Gill 1990 with a bang. It's brilliant. And of course, it's still a ballad song because this dude is talking about getting undressed and slipped on his robe. I'll show you pleasure like you never know. When you feel the magic in my hands, when I touch and rub you the right way. Had no business knowing that song at 8 years old, but I did. It was one of those songs in third grade and I went to a Catholic school in third grade. So it wasn't like you should be singing Rub You the Right Way at that point in time and at that school. And I never did, but it's just like when you get home, you turn on the radio and you turn on BET because we were one of the few people back in the early 90s that actually had cable. I didn't think about how spoiled we were when we were growing up. Sorry, Mom. It's just now dawning on me that in the early 1990s, a black family on the east side of Wilmington, Delaware had cable. Yeah. Sorry. Spoiled. But yes. Back to the point. Rub You the Right Way. It is hard to start an album off with that hard of a banger. But Jimmy Jam and Terry Lewis did it. And it is still one of those songs that you can play at any wedding reception, family reunion, college or high school homecoming or reunion. People of a certain age are going to say, oh shit, get up off their ass and dance. It is one of those great New Jack Swing dance tracks that does not quit. And that's why it's number one on this list. Because you got to start an album off strong. Yeah, we know Johnny Gill is a great singer. We know he can, balladeer here and balladeer there. But you need to get some people on the dance floor from time to time. And that's honestly the mark of a great singer. If you can sound just as good on up tempos as you do on the slow jams, then your vocals are proper. And Johnny Gill's vocals, make no mistake, are proper. All in all, self-titled 1990 is the perfect album. And that's the problem. That hurt Johnny Gill a lot because I compare it to, from a sports perspective, because I'm a sports writer and sports fan. This is just what I do. I compare Johnny Gill's 1990 album to when Dr. J finally got a ring with the Philadelphia 76ers in 1983. He's like, okay, we got Dr. Ring. It's nothing left to say. He's one of the greatest ever. And the Sixers fell off a cliff after that. They went out in the first round the next year. They made it to the Eastern Conference Finals, but lost to Boston. They lost in the second round. They lost in the first round, and Doc quit. He was done. So by 4 years after Dr. J's professional peak, the Sixers were nobodies. And I'm not going to say Johnny Gill was a nobody because Provocative was actually a really good album. Matter of fact, Provocative and Diary of a Mad Bad by Jodeci were the first two albums I bought with my own money from allowances and chore doing and all of that. Because my mom didn't play no hip hop. My mom hated hip hop. I remember I snuck and bought Murder Was the Case soundtrack. She had a fit. But Johnny Gill was something that she was more comfortable with me listening to. And Provocative was actually a really good album. It just wasn't Johnny Gill from 1990. And this is where, Johnny Gill's history kind of comes into play because people think Johnny Gill 1990 was his debut. It was not. He had a self-titled album on Cotillion Records in 1983. He had Chemistry in 1985. And then he had a joint project with Stacey Lattisaw, his homegirl from DC, in 1984 in between. So he had 3 albums actually before coming back around to the solo thing because New Edition, honestly, after the Chemistry album started to kind of sort of sink a little bit, New Edition had a problem because they kicked Bobby Brown out of the group because Bobby Brown was losing his damn mind. So Gerald Busby and the MCA execs is like, yo, we can't have these boys singing as a quartet. We need a 5th guy, and we need a strong 5th guy. Enter Johnny Gill. And of course, we know the history about how he hated Boys to Men. So he's like, you know what? I'm just going to F this song up. And it ends up being one of the classics in the New Edition catalog. And Motown saw this as like, hey, we could do some stuff with him. We can put some resources behind him. And that's where Jimmy and Terry and Babyface come in to give him the perfect album. But it's so hard to repeat the success of something that people are just so used to because albums used to have a longer shelf life because, again, Johnny Gill came out in April of 1990. That lasted all the way through the end of the year. Wrap My Body Tight was the last single. That came out in the late winter of 91, and that went all the way into the summer. And then, of course, here comes the Boomerang soundtrack. And then, of course, he has There You Go, which is one of the great songs on that album. Another one of those great 90s slow jams. And by the time it's time for him to come back around the studio for Provocative, everybody's like, okay, this is cool, but where's My. Where's Fairweather Friend? Where's Wrap My Body Tight? Where is Rub You the Right Way? And that had to suck for Johnny, because it's like, damn, I can't give you guys the same album twice. But it's just one of those things, man. It's unfortunate because there's no doubt Johnny Gill is one of the best to ever pick up a microphone and sing it. Bottom line. But he was cursed by how great that 1990 album was. And it stinks. But his legend is secure. I mean, it's probably one of the few albums that if you were in 1990 Black America, you put it in a time capsule and you pull it out in 2030, somebody listen to this and say, oh shit, this is smooth. It just doesn't age poorly. It ages gracefully. It just hurt him from the rest of his career, because it was just like people that kept expecting him to duplicate that success. And when you put something out that is that tight, that is no skips, people are just like, okay, everything else you've done is whack. And that's not fair to John. But that's the way of the world, man. That's the way music is. And that's what we'll discuss on the show. We're not just going to, talk about the music. We'll talk about the behind the music, which is the more fun stuff to me. I mean, I love the music itself, but learning the backstories of certain things is just as fun as well. So that is the first official ride on the Groove Line. I thank y'all for coming aboard. Greatly appreciate you. Contact information will be in the description below. Be sure to watch your step. We'll be back again with another ride later on in the coming weeks and months. So this is going to be fun. I'm going to have some guests on, hopefully some name brand guests, I hope. And, still talk about the music that I love and you love, and we're going to have a good time doing it. Again, if you feel like the 5 that I had, you can move it around, or if you feel like there's a song you would want to replace, put it in the comments. We'd love to hear from you. So until the next time we speak and we get on this ride together, y'all be good or be good at it.